guys doing? It's Friday, the 29th. I won the COVID lottery, one of them. It's amazing. It's good news for a change. I'm gonna take the first vaccine, COVID vaccine, in a few hours. So everybody should get the chance. Get it when it have a chance. We need to get a hold of this insidious virus. But we're not here to talk about winning the COVID lottery, which I've never won anything in my life. But out of 250,000 that apply for the lottery, only 9,000 were choosing. Well, that's how many doses of vaccine available. So it's very good. I'm grateful and looking forward to it. Anyway, probably about a year ago or last summer, you've all heard about the Holy Land or the Holy War debacle, and the racist comments from the owner's daughter and all of that, and all the boycott movement, almost a Me Too movement boycotting Holy Land, would cost him a lot, millions of dollars, and he lost his hummus business. I don't see his brand anymore, and the self-righteous co-op Seward and Lake Ones dropped his brands like a fly. But my wife was shopping there a few months ago, and then she found this wonderful hummus, and it's called Baba Hummus. And then they have a product line, hummus and Baba Ganu, and then Baba bread and Baba. And Baba is Arabic word for father, and also Baba Ganu, which is, I think, the Turkish things. It's like the food of judge or whatever. I don't know what Ganu means, but it has a Turkish flavor to it. So I said I need to know the story about the Baba story. It's a very good product, good name, and good story. And I contact them, and they were kind enough to respond to me. And I think we're gonna talk to the co-founder. Her name is Rana Kamal, and I think it is a family business, and as it said on their website, here it is. Here is Baba, no, beautiful. Our flavor. They also have so many flavor here. Okay, traditional roasted red pepper. Here we go. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you hear me right?
I can hear you okay, yes.
So, where are you, Rana? Rana.
Rana, yeah. I am in San Antonio, Texas.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
I moved here about a year and a half ago.
For work or what? The Baba food here in Burnersville. What are you doing there in Texas?
So for my husband's job.
Oh,
So
I see.
he works for USAA, and he got an amazing opportunity that we couldn't say no to, and here we are.
There we go. Thank you. Wish you more. So how is life there in Texas? They don't even know hummus there in Texas, do they?
Actually, I live in a part of Texas that is very cultured. So 70% of San Antonio is Latino.
Oh,
But yeah, there's a little bit of hummus. I mean, hummus is becoming mainstream.
yeah.
So, we have a Whole Foods nearby. We have Target. So, there's hummus there, but we don't have babas
No, no,
here
of
down in
course.
Texas. So
Uh,
hopefully in the near future.
Well, I'm sure Baba will be everywhere. Baba is a father in Arabic, and I mean, father has to. Few years back, 10 or 15 years, people in America didn't know the difference between hummus and Hamas, and some of this food was like a terrorist food. Now it's mainstream. Now it's a national dish that's everywhere.
everywhere.
So tell us a little bit about the story of Baba. This is the story of a beautiful story of an immigrant. What's your relationship with Jamal, the founder?
He's my father.
Oh, he's your father.
He's my father. Yeah.
And Kamal will be your husband's last name. Okay.
That's
I
right.
got it. Now I orientation there.
Piecing it together now.
I know I got it together. I mean, that's beautiful. So, your father Jamal, you guys came from Jerusalem,
That's right.
and he came from Jerusalem. You probably were born here.
I was born in Minnesota. Yeah. So I grew up in the Twin Cities.
Okay, I let you tell the story. I talk too much.
So my father immigrated to the United States from Jerusalem, as you mentioned, in the 1970s. He came for the American dream. And in 1979, he opened up the Mediterranean Cruise Cafe with his brothers. And it was one of the first Mediterranean Middle Eastern restaurants in the Twin Cities. And they were serving foreign food, right, to their American customers, foods that they had never heard of, have never tried, foods like hummus, as you mentioned, falafel, kebabs. But with a lot of hard work, the concept caught on. And now, 41 years later, the restaurant is still around. It's moved now to Burnsville. My father is the sole owner right now. So he owns the restaurant solely with our immediate family. But yeah, I mean, 41 years of hard work. And it's just a really beautiful thing to witness and to see.
Well, well. So I'll just show you how ignorant I was, how much research I do before my interview. Your father, Jamal, the Jamal that owns Mediterranean Cruise?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes. That's my father.
I know the guy.
Thank
I've been there. This is amazing place.
you.
One
Thank
of
you.
one of one of the place really. It's a hub for a lot of young Arabs and second generation. Tell me then the connection between the Mediterranean cruise, which is serve hummus for 40 or whatever 30 years.
Mhm.
Now you decided to have Baba hummus.
Yeah. Yep. So Baba's is a modern Middle Eastern food brand, and we specialize in dips such as hummus. We have 7 flavors. We also specialize in baba ganoush, tzatziki, and we just launched pita bread. I am one of the co-founders along with my brother Khaled. And really, the concept started 5 years ago in 2015. I was working actually as a TV host at the CW. So my background is actually in broadcast journalism. I graduated from St. Thomas with a broadcast journalism degree. I moved actually back to Jerusalem when I got married.
Oh,
I worked as a reporter there for a couple of years, and then I returned back to the Twin Cities and got a job as a TV host with the CW. So I did that for a few years. During that time, my brother and I really knew that we had something very special at the restaurant. Our customers would always rave about our hummus. They always asked, well, why can't we find this somewhere else? Like at the grocery stores, we're not at the restaurant. You guys really got to do something. And so that got us really thinking. We thought, why can't we do that? We really do make an amazing hummus. It really embodies where we come from the Utz, from Jerusalem. It is, a generational family recipe that was developed in the early days of the kitchen in the Mediterranean Cruise Cafe. Khalid and I, we're both not scientists, we're not chemists, so we really needed to hire an expert, right, to help us develop the recipe so it stays true to the authentic recipe of the restaurant of my dad's. But at the same time, make sure that it, can be shelf stable, that we can sell it in grocery stores. So that took, that's harder than you would think. So that took us a couple of years. And then, when that started to come together, we started to think about, well, what are we going to call it? And Baba's came to mind. Um, and it really felt right because, my dad gave us this incredible foundation. He really taught us what hard work and what success looks like. And as you mentioned, Baba means father. So this brand was really a way for us to pay homage to our father who has given us so much.
What a sweet story. It's about time. This guy been working so hard on it.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I grew up in Egypt. I came here probably 26, whatever,
Mhm.
and there was none of this was there. In America, it's very hard to find Middle Eastern food, and it developed and evolved. And so if you want to go to get some Middle Eastern food from Kabul and Lawns, you find a small shelf somewhere in a ghetto. You need to really take some security with you to get to that place. And people even afraid to walk in that aisle because it has this strange terrorist food. But
Right.
now it's a mainstream; it's everywhere, and then it comes to the point. Americans do not live well enough alone. Now you have. I was the other day. I saw chocolate been added to hummus. That's blasphemy for me.
Yes, I can really appreciate where you're coming from. I really think it's good to hold on to our traditions, but we really pride ourselves in calling ourselves a very modern Middle Eastern brand. And our bread and butter is our traditional hummus, right? It's our foundation. It is creamy. It's velvety. But I also think that evolving is also okay. And I think we're going towards that in Middle Eastern food. And we're seeing a lot of that. And I think that with Babas, we're really trying to bring that in, but also keep the authenticity front and center as well. So I think it's all about evolving. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think our generation also really speaks to that as well. They celebrate culture, but they also welcome cultures to interlap with each other as well.
I, before I do this show, I said I'm not gonna get political, but I live in the western suburbs, Minnetonka, and I always go to Lake Wind, and I get Holy Land brands. It was every day, well established. And all of a sudden, they drop them off. Probably you are aware of the debacle, the Holy War, and the racism, and the campaign to boycott Holy Land products, and very successful immigrant story of a Holy Land. Also 40 years been working, and he's been kicked out of the Holy Land back home, and all of a sudden he can even write Holy Land on a store and make a living. So you are more than just a hummus.
Absolutely. Baba's is a lifestyle brand. It's beyond hummus. It represents who we are. I am Palestinian, but I'm also American. I'm equally proud to be Palestinian as I am to be American. As I mentioned before, I was born and raised in America. America has given my father, my family, and myself, my husband, my daughters, so much opportunity. And it is my duty, it's my mission to reflect that in this brand. If you think about all the brands, across the United States, there aren't many, if any, Palestinian represented food brands, correct? And it's our mission to bring that to the forefront. We have a very beautiful, rich culture that I think gets buried by all the politics that you hear about back home. And we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on our culture, on the history, on the beauty of our food. Food and culture to Middle Easterners, I think are very intertwined. When I think of food, I think of culture. When I think of culture, I think of food. And I really, it's important for me to bring that to the forefront through Babas. I think it's just an important mission for us as Palestinian Americans. And, now having Babas be a part of our lives.
Well, I mean, you have two babas now, and what is the problem? I know I grew up to use the bread and dip and
Yeah.
make something called widnul otta. I don't know, Palestinian wouldn't know widnul otta because this is an Egyptian
But
thing.
but I know what you're saying.
This is the ear of the cat.
Yes.
That's how you shape and you dip it and you eat it. You can eat it any way you like, but for you, how do you eat hummus?
Okay, so I grew up eating hummus, right? Again, I grew up in our family restaurant. My parents took us back home to the Uts every other summer. So I grew up eating the best of the best hummus. And everybody will ask me, what's your favorite? How do you eat it? Just as you did. My favorite is the traditional, the plain hummus. I like lots of olive oil and then a toasted pita, like a fresh toasted pita. That's the best way, hands down.
Wonderful. It's a simple way of doing it, and simplicity is the most difficult thing to do it in this country because
Absolutely.
it's a sin. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and good luck with your Baba Jamal and also your Baba Hummus.
Thank you so much for having me.
Comes in all shapes, color, and sizes, eaten by people of all walks of life. They tear it into pieces, cut it, cover it, slice it, and of course, stuff it. Immigrants might leave everything behind when they leave their own countries, homes, families, places, and faces, but they all bring with them their own bread.
In Afghanistan, I used to go, my mother gave me, dough balls to take it to the bakery and cook it, bring it back. So that's what I did every day.
I think that in Egypt or in Arab countries, the bread is, I think it's the main item in the Egyptian meal. And we have a few different kind too.
In the East, where we come from, especially from Palestine, Jerusalem, and that part of the world, Egypt, Iraq. Without the bread, there is no cuisine. We eat bread with bread. So bread is a very important thing in our life. It's very flat, very, like a pancake bread. And then we have also this one. Also the sabaya bread for the Somalian community is very famous also. So Somalian for the community. What's that called? Sabaya. Sabaya. Okay. Sabaya bread actually for Somalian community. The injera for the Ethiopian and East African community.
Bread is something unique. Everybody loved it and everybody wanted. Most people, they can't even live without bread because they want it every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
You cannot do it without bread. You have to have the bread. The Ethiopian food without injera is like, it really doesn't make any sense. So, injera is made out of teff. It's the smallest grain on earth. I don't know if you've seen it before.
Injera is a grain?
It's a little grain. It's a flour out of that grain. It's called teff. But in America, we don't get the teff very often here, so we got wheat and barley. I mix it with a little teff, and that's how they make injera.
It's a really nice complement to, it's kind of a little bit sour, and so it's a great complement to all the spicy food. It kind of offsets it, and it's a fun way to eat.
In America, flatbread has become the best things that happened to the country since sliced bread. Bread is made to be shared. It brings people together. Bread is who we are.
I think not only in Egypt, I think bread is, if you go anywhere here in America also, like a grocery store or any place, you find all kind of bread. And in our country, actually, the government, they pay percentage to make people, subsidize to make it affordable for the people, you know. So it's way cheaper there for sure.
Egyptian had two revolutions. When President Sadat raised the price of bread in '77, the second revolution, Tahrir Square, Egyptians were chanting, bread, freedom, and social justice.